The NPS or the National Pension System needs no introduction. Like the FD, the PPF or LIC, it is becoming a household name. So what's responsible for the popularity of NPS? Is it the tax benefits? Is it the low cost? Or is it the wide array of investment choices? Well, all of this. But these aren't all. Over the years, a number of initiatives or the changes that the NPS went through have added to its appeal. Now there have been 40 plus changes in the last 5 years, but there are 5 changes that have not just redefined the NPS, but have also made it a popular investment choice. In this video, we will look at those 5 changes, as knowing these changes or features of the NPS will help you get more out of it. This will also help you compare it with other popular investment choices. This is doubly useful at the present moment when the tax saving season is going on. Hello and welcome to ET Money's YouTube channel. But before we begin, a quick reminder. You're watching this video on ET Money's English channel. हमारा एक हिंदी चैनल भी है जहाँ पे आप सारी वीडियोस हिंदी में देख सकते हैं. And if you are or know somebody who wants to understand the basics of finance in 5 minutes, we have a channel called 5 Minute Finance. Do check it out. Alright, before we begin, one more thing. If you would like to know more about the basics of NPS, we have a video about it and I've included the link for it in the description as well. Alright, now let's go to the first change. Since NPS is a retirement savings tool, final withdrawals from it are possible at 60. Now, if your NPS corpus is more than 5 lakh, you must use at least 40% of the corpus to buy an annuity. There is no tax on this 40% part of the corpus. However, the payout from the annuity is taxable as per your slab rate. Now, the remaining 60% of the corpus can be withdrawn as a lump sum. This amount too is tax-free. But until FY19, this wasn't so. Till then, only 40% of the final withdrawal was tax-free and the rest 20% was taxable. Now, the Union Budget of FY20 increased the limit of tax-free withdrawals from the NPS from 40% to 60%. This change made the NPS virtually tax-free. The NPS enjoys the exempt or triple E taxation now. This means that the investments in the NPS are tax-exempt, the growth of this corpus is also free from tax, and the final withdrawals are tax-free too. Of course, the annuity payouts aren't, but that's a different matter. Even partial withdrawals from the NPS are tax-free. A partial withdrawal can be made after 3 years of lock-in, and it can be up to 25% of the total amount invested. Let's see the next change now. The NPS offers 2 investment choices in the all-citizen model, active and auto. The active choice allows you to decide your allocation to available asset classes, that is equity, government bonds, corporate bonds, and the alternative investment fund. However, the maximum allocation towards equity can be 75%. Now, until October 2022, if someone chose 75% as their equity asset allocation, it would automatically start tapering by 2.5% every year starting at the age of 51. So by the time a person turns 60, it would become 50%. This was a risk management measure that sought to protect the capital as the subscribers neared retirement. Now in October 2022, this tapering was made optional. So now, if one wishes, he can have 75% equity allocation until 60 years of age. This means you get to enjoy equity returns on a higher share of your NPS investments than before. This can boost your returns, although it increases the risk as well. But if you don't want this higher equity allocation, you can opt for the systematic tapering of 2.5% every year. Alternatively, you can adjust your asset allocation manually as per your requirements. The NPS allows you to change your asset allocation as many as 4 times in a financial year. Now, the removal of mandatory tapering is all the more useful as NPS withdrawals can be deferred until 75 years of age. So, it gives you more flexibility to manage your NPS corpus if you would like to defer your NPS withdrawals. In the same circular in which the tapering of the active choice was made optional, 100% equity allocation was allowed in the Tier 2 account of NPS without any conditions of tapering. Earlier, the maximum equity exposure under Tier 2 was 75% as well. Alright, now let's move to the next point. Similar to systematic withdrawal plans or SWPs of mutual funds, the NPS enabled the systematic lump sum withdrawals or SLW facility in October 2023. It allows subscribers to withdraw the NPS corpus in a systematic manner. Now, 2 things are to be noted here. 1. The SLW is available only in the case of the final exit from the NPS. It's not valid for premature withdrawals. Second, it's applicable only for the lump sum withdrawal corpus, which is, as we discussed earlier, is 60% of the maturity corpus. So even if you opt for the SLW, you will still have to use 40% of the corpus to buy an annuity. So as you start an SLW at 60 years, you can get the payout till you are 75 years old. The payout frequency can be monthly, quarterly, half yearly or yearly. So the SLW allows you to stay invested in the NPS for longer and get a regular income as well from it. Of course, you can also decide to take a lump sum payout, but then you will need to deploy that corpus wisely. With the SLW, that's automatically taken care of. Now, another way to look at the SLW is it enables your entire NPS corpus to generate a pension for you. With the 40% corpus, you get a pension from the annuity, and with the SLW, you can get periodic payouts which are like a pension. Alright, let's understand the benefits of SLW with an example. Say a 30-year-old invests 2 lakh rupees in a year in the NPS to claim tax deductions of 1.5 lakh and 50,000 under Section 80C and 80CCD1B. Now he earns an annualized return of 12%. By the time he turns 60, his NPS corpus is 5.9 crore. Now, of this 5.9 crore, he buys an annuity plan for 40% of the sum, that is 2.5 crore. This annuity plan gives him a return of 5% yearly. So on a monthly basis, he will receive 98,000 rupees. For the 60% of the corpus of 3.5 crores, he sets up an SLW. Through the SLW, he withdraws 4% of the corpus per year. So his monthly payout is 1,16,667. So in all, he gets 2,14,716. The table on your screen summarizes this. Assuming a 6% post-retirement return on the lump sum corpus, he will still have about 5 crores in the NPS when he turns 75. Now that's after the monthly withdrawals of 1,16,000. So that's the power of systematically withdrawing from the NPS rather than in one go. Of course, you can withdraw the 60% lump sum corpus and invest in, for example, in a mutual fund, and that can help you earn higher returns. But for those who would like to keep it simple and stay away from the hassles of active money management post-retirement, the SLW is worth exploring. In October 2020, the NPS launched the D-Remit facility that allows subscribers to get the same day NAV. If you go by the normal route, it takes T plus 2 days to get the NAV, but the D-Remit feature cuts short this timeline. D-Remit uses a trustee bank to transfer subscribers' money directly to the NPS rather than routing it through the intermediary bank account. You can activate D-Remit through the eNPS website. For that, you will have to create a virtual ID with the trustee bank. This virtual ID can be used only for NPS contributions. Now, if you're using D-Remit for both Tier 1 and Tier 2, two separate virtual IDs are created. This virtual ID will then have to be added to your bank account as a beneficiary. Now, I have included a link in the description that explains the steps involved in a step-by-step manner. One important thing, to get the same day NAV, you must make your contributions before 9:30 am. The contributions can be made through RTGS, NEFT or IMPS. Now, one more advantage of D-Remit is it allows you to set up NPS SIPs. For that, after you've added a virtual account ID as a beneficiary, you will need to set up a standing instruction with your bank. But you can avoid doing all this by investing in NPS through the ET Money app. The ET Money helps you do the SIP in the NPS in an easier way. Now let's talk about the fifth change in NPS. The NPS has 10 pension fund managers. These fund managers each manage the 4 asset classes: equity, government bonds, corporate bonds, and the alternative investment fund. Now, until November 2023, one had to choose just one fund manager for all 4 asset classes. But now, you can choose different fund managers for each asset class. For instance, you can choose HDFC Pension Fund Manager for equity, Kotak Mahindra Pension Fund for corporate bonds, and SBI Pension Fund for government bonds. So, based on performance, you can choose different fund managers for different asset classes. But there's a catch. For asset class A or the alternative investment fund, you must choose one of the fund managers that you selected for the rest of the 3 asset classes. So, if you chose HDFC, Kotak and SBI for the rest of the 3 asset classes, you must pick one of them for asset class A as well. You cannot pick, for instance, Tata Pension Fund Manager for asset class A. Of course, you can continue to have just one fund manager for all asset classes. Now, a few weeks ago, we published a video on the comprehensive performance analysis of NPS fund managers. I've included its link in the description, so do watch it. Now this video will help you identify the best NPS fund managers across asset classes. For instance, HDFC turned out to be the best pension fund manager for equity and LIC for government bonds. And if you'd like to have just one fund manager, we tell you the best pension fund manager also in the video. Let's see the next NPS change. Alright, we have discussed 5 key changes that have transformed the NPS, but that's not all. NPS is always evolving and there are changes being made to it regularly. Let's take a quick look at some of the other changes. Number 1. In October 2021, the entry age in the NPS was increased to 70. Earlier, it was 65. For those who join the NPS after 65 years, normal exit is after 3 years. Second, in November 2023, NPS allowed a change in the KRAs or Central Record Keeping Agencies. Those who have voluntarily opened their NPS account can do so. Currently, there are 3 NPS KRAs: CAMS, KFin Technologies, and Protean eGov Technologies. They each have their respective fee structures. 3. In November 2022, the NPS enabled parallel processing of lump sum payment and annuity issuance for the convenience of subscribers. This was done by making the NPS withdrawal form validity for annuity issuance as well. Number 4. In November 2020, online exit was enabled for the NPS. Earlier, one was able to invest online, but the exit process was offline. Number 5. In June 2020, central and state government employees were provided with the choice of pension funds and investment patterns in Tier 1 of the NPS. Number 6. In August 2020, an ombudsman was appointed to resolve grievances related to the NPS. 7. In August 2020, NPS Tier 2 Tax Saving Scheme or NPS TTS was introduced for government employees. It allowed government employees to invest in the NPS Tier 2 for income tax saving under Section 80C. Number 8. In January 2021, partial withdrawals from the NPS were simplified by changing the requirements to just self-declaration. Number 9. In February 2023, the turnaround time for various activities was reduced from T+4 to T+2. Now, apart from this, several other measures were taken to promote transparency, deepen digitization, and ensure subscriber convenience. The NPS has not only emerged as a leading investment and retirement tool, but it is also improving and transforming fast. Now, as per the latest media reports, the government may be thinking of extending NPS benefits to the new tax regime. So, the NPS story is far from over. Given that NPS is a retirement tool, it's only natural for it to stay at the center of policy interventions. The very reason the NPS was introduced was the government wanted to move to a defined contribution model of retirement from the defined benefit one. So, as a subscriber, you can assume the NPS to get even better with time. And if you aren't a subscriber yet and haven't invested in NPS, it may be time for you to consider it. Not only is it a retirement solution, but it can also be a wealth builder. What's more, you don't have to go anywhere else. Start your NPS with ET Money today. And that's all I have for you today. Hope you liked it and found the video useful. And if you did, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. I will see you in another video very soon. Till then, take care.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.